Are you in the market for an RX 5700, but you want more performance?
Yeah.
And do you want that performance now?
Nah.
Why not?
'Cause I might muck something up, and if I do, then I can't get my money back.
Well, have no fear, because in today's video, I'm going to show you how you can flash your RX 5700 into a 5700 XT and gain some easy performance. Now, I got this card right here. This is the Gaming X. I got it on a sale in Australia for 540 Aussie dollars. This is pretty much MSI's flagship model with a cooler that's 1.4 kilograms, so it's massive and it can definitely handle the heat on a 5700 XT. So when it's dropped down to a 5700, it really leaves a little bit more to be desired. Now, in order to get this working, you'll have to download a program called atiflash. And you can get this from the Tech Power Up website, and I'll put all the links in the description below on how you can do this. So let's get into flashing this thing and checking out the before and after temperatures, and then comparing it to a 5700 XT like the Taichi here, and seeing what kind of value for money you can get. Though before we do show you that, a quick message from today's video sponsor. If you're in the market for a new Zen 2 Ryzen 3000 CPU, then a perfect motherboard for this is the X570 Phantom Gaming X from ASRock, with included Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth, and also RGB on board, as well as a 14-phase VRM, 2.5G NIC, and amazing onboard audio. This motherboard has you covered on all things motherboard. Links in the description below to find out more. So now that you've downloaded atiflash, it's actually a pretty simple process. And also on the Tech Power Up website, they have a list of pretty much every VBIOS available for pretty much any graphics card out there. And so when you've got an RX 5700, you do have to make sure that the cooler will handle the extra heat output, since a 5700 XT will use a bit more power than the regular 5700. I've calculated in this case, for when I flashed this model right here, it was using an extra 40 watts roughly than the 5700 was at its default clocks out of the box. Though, since I said before, this cooler is over-engineered for a 5700, it's not a problem. And so what you need to do in order to do this is go to the Tech Power Up website, find the VBIOS file that matches the same model of your 5700. For instance, we've got our RX 5700 Gaming X here, and when we looked this up on the website, it showed the VBIOS was available, and also when I looked up the same model on 5700 XT, it also had a VBIOS available. And when I checked out the differences between these two VBIOSes, they were pretty much identical in every field except the higher clocks and also the power consumption numbers. So I knew that this VBIOS was going to be pretty much perfect for flashing on this job. Now, one thing to be careful of is don't go flashing another manufacturer's VBIOS on your card. For instance, I wouldn't flash an Asus Strix 5700 XT on this MSI Gaming X. Though I have, funnily enough, flashed an RX 5700 Challenger BIOS to my Taichi here, and since it does have a dual BIOS switch, I'm now able to change this from a 5700 XT Taichi to a 5700 Challenger in just a simple flick of a switch. So that is one benefit that does work within board partners themselves, but for all intents and purposes, we've got this model right here, and we've got the two VBIOSes that we need, one to back up in case something goes wrong. And if something does go wrong, I'll show you how you can get your original VBIOS back on your card and get it back to its original condition. So now that you've downloaded the program and you've got your VBIOSes ready, what I like to do personally is I like to copy this whole atiflash folder into my C drive root directory, and then I'll call the folder flash. And so when I go now to the command prompt in the bottom left-hand corner, I just type in CMD, you have to right-click this and open as administrator. And so this will open pretty much DOS within Windows. And then here you can type in, I like to type in CD /. That'll pretty much take me to the C drive directory. Then I type in CD space flash, that's the name of the atiflash folder. And then I've loaded my VBIOS within this folder. So it's important to have your VBIOS files within the same folder. And then what we need to do now is type in the name of the exe file, the executable, and that in this case is called AMD VB Flash. And then I want you to type in space and then -I, and then hit enter. And what this will do is it'll display the adapter port on where your graphics card is at, because you have to target the graphics card and make sure that's the one being selected. So we can see here that the adapter says it's called 0. And after we've found this out, we're now ready to flash our card. So do make sure that there's no thunderstorm going on. There's also no services that it could crash your computer or anything really, like in the case of your computer is working a little bit weird. Make sure your computer's 100%, nothing's going to interrupt this process. And so here we type in AMD VB Flash space, and then we type in -P space 0, because that's the adapter as we found out before with that previous command. And then we type in space -F. And what this is going to do is force flash. In other words, since these models aren't the exact same models, usually it won't flash it in the GUI Windows version. And so this force command is going to force this 5700 XT BIOS to flash on our 5700. And then type in the name of our VBIOS, which I believe I called mine 5700 MSI.ROM. And now I hit enter, and it's pretty quick. It'll usually take around 10 to 20 seconds, and then it will say flash confirmed, it's all done, and then we're ready to restart our computer and confirm that everything's okay. So now after flashing this new BIOS onto this Gaming X card, we now have a 5700 XT gaming BIOS on our 5700. However, it's not exactly a 5700 XT fully, in that AMD in a lot of these models, I have though heard that some of the earlier models were able to be fully flashed into a 100% 5700 XT, but what AMD's done, at least on this particular model here, is they've laser cut the die in that the max amount of stream processors that we can enable is the same as the 5700. That is 2,304 versus the 5700 XT's 2,560. However, that being said, we do now have access to the higher power limits, the higher clock speeds, and also the memory throughput speeds, I believe, have been raised as well. So, testing this out in benchmarks, we can see that this card gets a sizable increase over the original 5700 BIOS that it had on before. And so it's to the tune of about 10%, and it's free performance that you can get if you've got one of these graphics cards. And pretty much every model that I've tested it out on here has pretty much responded positively to this upgrade. And so now you've got free performance at your disposal. You don't really have to do anything else. You've got a really good value for money card that's going to perform really well at 1080p, 1440p, and even 4K. But one thing to keep in mind is, as we spoke about in the intro, I did have a massive cooler on this card, and so you will get extra heat output roughly to the tune of 40 watts, at least in this model here. So you will have to cool down that additional heat. And so if your 5700 model has a really sort of cheap and lightweight cooler, you may wish to be careful in doing this update. But since this 1.4 kilogram cooler is ridiculously heavy and it's geared up to even a 5700 XT and keeping that really cool, we had no problems whatsoever. So essentially what we're left with is something that is closer to a 5700 XT. It's not quite there in the exact same numbers. It does fall a little bit behind, but it's still a sizable increase over the 5700. And that's about all there is to it with getting that extra performance out of your 5700. And now for me personally, I really like this. I think it adds extra value for money to a graphics card that was already one of the best value for money graphics cards that you can get out there in the market. And especially when we look at what you can get a 5700 for at the moment, the prices are really cheap. Last time I checked on Amazon, you can get one of these things for around 320 USD, and that's with a decent cooler. And then if we compare that to in Australia, 5700s, I've seen them go for as low as 450 Aussie dollars. Though for me personally, with this mod, I'm super happy, as for 540 Aussie dollars, I've pretty much got a flagship AMD graphics card, which is about 370 USD, and the cooling and noise is amazing on this particular model. Though, what happens if you come into a bricked BIOS or something goes wrong in this process? Well, that's where you're either going to need a backup graphics card, or if you've got something with onboard graphics, say for instance a Ryzen APU or an Intel K CPU, like a 9700K with its onboard GPU portion, you can then boot up off that GPU portion. And after this, you then have to boot your computer into safe mode by basically, if you try to boot it up with this graphics card in and you fail to boot up your computer a few times, it'll automatically give you the option to bring up a screen that says Windows isn't booting properly. You then go to Troubleshoot, Advanced Options, and then you select 4, which is Safe Mode. And then once you've booted into Windows in Safe Mode, you then go to Device Manager, and then you can disable your RX 5700 and then reboot the system. And then once you're in the system again, this time around in a normal boot, you're then able to load up atiflash and flash back on with the steps that we showed before your original VBIOS. That's the original RX 5700 BIOS. But if for whatever reason Tech PowerUp doesn't have your original VBIOS enabled, you can download from that same website GPU-Z, and you can then within that program make a backup copy of your VBIOS. So I recommend, of course, having the original VBIOS before you attempt to flash to the 5700 XT. And if anything goes wrong, then you can get back to your original working card by doing this step. And so once you've flashed it back to the original card, you can then restart the machine and it should be back to its original condition. And with all that out of the way, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, then be sure to hit that like button for us, and also let us know your thoughts and opinions on flashing this graphics card and getting that extra free performance. Love reading your thoughts and opinions as always. And with that being said, we have the question of the day, which comes from The Gaming Lance, and they ask, have you tried an ultrasonic cleaner? And I'm actually going to try one very soon. I've heard some really good stories about them. I'm just thinking of the best one to get for motherboards and graphics cards, because the bigger they get a lot more expensive quickly. And so if you guys have the perfect size for motherboards and graphics cards, let us know in the description below, because I'm ready to get one and start seeing what they can do for the Tech Yes loving process. Anyway guys, I'll catch you in another tech video very soon. If you've stayed this far, and as always, you're enjoying that content and you're not yet subbed, then the sub button's down there, ring that bell to get this content as soon as it drops here at Tech Yes City. And I'll catch you in another tech video very soon. Peace out for now. Bye.